नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Bhagavati-uttama-shloke bhaktir-bhavati-naistiki umagyanati-mirandasya gyananjana-shalakaya chakshur-umilitam-yena tasmai shri-gurave namaha. Namo Vishnu-padaya Krishna-prishtaya bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta-swamiti namine. Namaste Sarasvate-deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya-deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vanchakalpatarubhya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, the glorious, no, it's not this one. It's been moved. Okay, I lose my phone, it's not this book. I think. Chapter 3, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 21. Shirupini, no. Shirupini kavanayati charan naravindam Lilambujena harisadmani mukta dosha Samlakshate spatika kudya upeta himni Samarjati vayat anugrahane niyatma yatna Shirupini kvanayati charanaravindam Lilambujena harisadmani mukta dosha Samlakshate spatika kudya upeta himni Samarjatvayat anugrahani niyatnam Chirupini kvanayati charanaravindam Lilambujena harisadmani mukta dosha Samlakshate spatika kudya upeta himni Samarjati vayat anugrahane niyayatna Shirupini kvanayati charanaravindam Nambujena harisadmani mukta dosha Samlakshate spatika kudya upeta himni. Samar hayatan yayatna. Shirupini kvanayati charanaravindham. Lilam bujena hariman mukta dosha. Sanakshate snati prakudya upeta hini. Samargita. Irupini kvanayati charanaravindam. Mukta dosha. Samlakshate spatika kudya upeta heni. Samarjita vayad anugrahane yatna. Arjun, you want to chant? Okay, translation. Want to chant? Ye rupini kvanayati charanaravindam. Nilam bhujena harisadmani mukta dosha. Samlakshate spatika kudya upeta himni. Samarjati vayat anugrahane yatna. Translation. Shri, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Rupini, assuming a beautiful form. Vanayati, tinkling. Charanaravindam, lotus feet. Lila ambujena, playing with a lotus flower. Harisadmani, the house of the Supreme Personality. Mukta dosha, freed from all faults. Samlakshyate, becomes visible. Spatika, crystal. Kudye, walls. Upeta, mixed. Hemni, goat. Samarjati iva, appearing like a sweeper. Yatanugrahane, to receive her favor. Anya, others. Yatnaha, very much careful. Oh, I didn't see Mataji is there. I didn't ask her to chant. You want to chant Mataji the verse? Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The ladies in the Vaikuntha planets are as beautiful as the goddess of fortune herself. Such transcendently beautiful ladies, their hands playing with lotuses and their leg bangles tinkling, are sometimes seen sweeping the marble walls, which are bedecked at intervals with golden borders, in order to receive the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jai. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Supreme Lord, Govinda, is always served in his abode by many, many millions of goddesses of fortune. Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrava Sevyan Mano. These millions and trillions of goddesses of fortune who reside in the Vaikuntha planets are not exactly consorts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but are the wives of the devotees of the Lord, and also engage in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated here that in the Vaikuntha planets, the houses are made of marble. Similarly, in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the ground on the Vaikuntha planets is made of touchstone. Thus, there is no need to sweep the stone in Vaikuntha, for there is hardly any dust on it. But still, in order to satisfy the Lord, the ladies there always engage in dusting the marble walls. Why? The reason is that they are eager to achieve the grace of the Lord by doing so. It's a very nice moment. I'll read it again. Thus, there is no need to sweep the stone in Vaikuntha, for there is hardly any dust on it. But still, in order to satisfy the Lord, the ladies there always engage in dusting the marble walls. Why? The reason is that they are eager to achieve the grace of the Lord by doing so. It is also stated here that in the Vaikuntha planets, the goddesses of fortune are faultless. Generally, the goddess of fortune does not remain steadily in one place. Her name is Chanchala, which means one who is not steady. We find, therefore, that a man who is very rich may become the poorest of the poor. Another example is Ravana. Ravana took Lakshmi Sitaji to his kingdom, and instead of being happy by the grace of Lakshmi, his family and his kingdom were vanquished. Thus, Lakshmi in the house of Ravana is Chanchala, or unsteady. Men of Ravana's class want Lakshmi only, without her husband, Narayana. Therefore, they become unsteady due to Lakshmiji. Materialistic persons find fault on the part of Lakshmi, but in Vaikuntha, Lakshmiji is fixed in the service of the Lord. In spite of her being the goddess of fortune, she cannot be happy without the grace of the Lord. Even the goddess of fortune needs the Lord's grace in order to be happy. Yet in the material world, even Brahma, the highest created being, seeks the favor of Lakshmi for happiness. The translation again. The ladies in the Vaikuntha planets are as beautiful as the goddess of fortune herself. Such transcendentally beautiful ladies, their hands playing with lotuses and their leg bangles tinkling, are sometimes seen sweeping the marble walls, which are bedecked at intervals with golden borders, in order to receive the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When I read this verse yesterday, I was thinking, I can print it maybe and put it downstairs on the janitor door. Get inspiration. Very, very nice verse. So, we see how millions and millions, billions and billions, and innumerable goddesses of fortune are serving the Lord by menial service just to please Him. This is what's going on in the spiritual world. I remember one lecture I heard from, I think, Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj. He was emphasizing this point in his lecture. He was saying, in the spiritual world, you will be doing nothing else but cleaning every day, whole day. Cleaning. And here we have it. The goddesses of fortune who are engaged in some really simple service. going down and just sweeping the floor or mopping, brooming the beautiful roads of Vaikuntha, which are made of touchstone, which don't even need to be cleaned. Why are they doing it? They're doing it just to please the Lord with their sincere service. So, in the same way, now we are in this world and we have forgotten this original position of ours. Therefore, for us to do something like this is very tedious. It's very troublesome. Somebody asks you, Prabhu, can you please clean the floor there? Oh, my back is hurting me a bit here. Oh no, I have something else to do, Prabhuji. Oh no, I'm clean. I'm puja clean now. I can't. Have to keep myself clean. Brahminical activities later. Always some excuse to prevent, to avoid the service that is coming in our way, which is actually very beneficial for us, for keeping ourselves grounded a little bit, because many times we do some more prestigious services, then we get a little bit proud when somebody asks us, Prabhu, can you wash a few pots in the kitchen? Oh, Prabhu, I give only lectures. So it's a training that we're undergoing here. It's a preparation for the spiritual world where we'll be mopping the roads and the castles of Narayana or Krishna in Goloka. So we have to get used with this thought. And we have to understand the absolute nature of devotional service. Therefore, we have to learn how to respond to all these requests that are coming from the Vaishnavas, from our seniors, and not just our seniors, So many services are there, so many opportunities to surrender every day. And service is absolute, like I was saying. Sometimes you'd need to cook for the deities or do puja on the altar. Sometimes you'll be needed to lead a nice kirtan outside, Harinam, give a lecture, outreach program. But sometimes you just have to do the needful and clean the temple to prepare it for the Sunday program, or just clean the sink where everybody is spitting and leaving some nasty things around, maybe. Sometimes it happens. And it's all good. Most of the times, even Krishna is more pleased to see us doing these kind of things, because he's seeing that we are getting out of our way to do something nice for him. So this is how we are getting trained up. And from this simple service, which is, like I was saying, which is keeping us humble, that's the other perk. Then our service will expand just by trying to be a humble servant to the fellow Vaishnavas around us. Then gradually we get the fundamentals, we get the basics. We form our uh, spiritual character necessary to progress to something more responsible in the mission. So there is a purpose for everything. And we cannot see it because many times we are in a very junior position. So we don't have the understanding, we don't have the far sight, the broad-mindedness to see our own situation, to see the situation in which we are posted. Therefore, we have to just become humble servants and just develop faith in the instructions of our fellow Vaishnavas. And then Krishna sees everything. He sees every little endeavor by us, every little struggle to serve Him. And this is what ultimately personal, pure devotional service means. It means to come out of our own way to serve selflessly. To serve selflessly Krishna, but we know that we don't serve directly Krishna, but we are serving directly the Vaishnavas, which are representatives of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And we can find the same principle even in this material world. It works in the same way. Just like when a man tries to please his wife. If one really wants to please his wife, he will do something which she likes. Maybe the wife likes to go outdoors, or certain type of flowers, certain type of preparation. And then the husband, sometimes he comes back from work and he bought the flowers and the favorite dish of his wife and brings her out the weekend, sacrificing his own time. Maybe he was planning to do something else with his neighbor friends, hang out with the boys a little bit. But no, this time he wanted to please his wife because he wanted to deepen the relationship. Because maybe they were quarreling the past few weeks. So, in the same way, if we want to please Krishna, we shouldn't be doing what we like. No, I want it this way. I will cook what I like. I want to do it like this because I think this is good. Because this is how I like it and everybody has to like it. But no, we have to understand that being personal means becoming sensible and understanding the people in front of us. It takes some austerity, actually. It's austere to be personal. And in the same way, when we do this, we can actually develop our relationship with the Vaishnavas and ultimately with Krishna, because this is the principle which is leading to pure bhakti. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he came here in the 60s, he traveled across the world in a very heavy condition in the Jaladuta ship. He was 70 and he had 2 heart attacks without any medical supervision on the ship, without any basic comforts, or I don't know, as far as I know. His place wasn't so nice where he was staying there. And then he came to America. He left his family back. He struggled for 1 year. Then miracle happened. Slowly, things started to move somewhere. Prabhupada started organizing some programs and inviting the first followers that got attracted. And he was cooking feast like we do nowadays. It's already established, the Sunday Love Feast. So Prabhupada started that, and all these hippies, the first ladies and gentlemen who got attracted, they were just coming there, and Prabhupada was doing everything. He was cooking the feast, Sumtu's feast, and he was giving the lecture and serving them. And they were just eating, and that's it, living, you know. Prabhupada never asked them for help. He was doing everything alone, just to please them, just to develop a nice relationship. And soon they noticed this. Took them some time, but they noticed that, hey, there's this old man here, he's doing so much work for us, and we are just dumping all our dirty plates to him to wash after the party's over, you know. So they got touched by Prabhupada's humility and personality, his selflessness. This is what the people want in this world. This is what they want to see from us. And in the same manner, we have to try to serve the public, and they will get attracted by our teamwork when we follow in the footsteps. And teamwork means family. Familial relationships means sacrifice and cultivation. Like I said, one has to become sensible to the people around him, and one has to endeavor and cultivate these relationships, which are very, very precious, especially in a world where there is so much discord and confusion. Everybody is so out of touch with nature and with the original ways, with the original Vedic principles. Just like, for example, nowadays, people are having guests in their homes, and they don't even know how to receive a proper guest properly, which is very unfortunate. But we have this knowledge, we have this possibility, this culture, and we can preach to the world by own example. This is what the real preaching is. Not so much to go out and just meet the people and try to push the philosophy in their dull heads. Not so many people can relate immediately to the philosophy. But when they see us, that we are really together, that we are working like brothers and sisters, that we are all happily mopping the floors of our temple and doing all kinds of services. Just like, for example, I remember there was one of our teachers in the Bhakti Vaibhava course in India. He was recounting his story where he was getting into Krishna consciousness slowly, and one time he came to the temple. It was his first time, and he said, I got Krishna consciousness in my head. I understood what it means that day. So he entered the temple, and in India, many times you have, at the entrance, you have the chapel guy. The chapel that everybody is giving his shoes or slippers, and he's putting them in order. And it's not a very respectable job, you know. Chapel, come here, take my shoes, okay. nobody bothers about him much. And then afterwards, after the Gaur Arati, whatever, the Kirtan, when the lecture was to begin, then the chapel guy came to give the lecture, and he was amused. What's going on here? And he listened to this very nice lecture, and then later he came to know that that's actually the temple president of the temple. So that's why he said, I got Krishna consciousness stamped in my head. It was a blow to see this type of extraordinary dealings. Nobody in the material world would do something like this, especially somebody who is in an important managerial administrational position. It's like, for example, now we have the new king in London, in England, King Charles. Imagine he's on his throne, speaking, and then afterwards go and sweep the ground somewhere around him. It's impossible. Nobody does this in the material world. But no, we are trying to become Vaishnavas. Therefore, we have to do the needful. And when people see us cooperating with each other, working together, and having nice relationships between us, which are based on compassion, which are based on sincere service, which are based on love, ultimately, then people will really be attracted. They will come themselves and they will ask us, what's going on here? What is the secret drug that you're taking? And then we'll tell them, come taste our prasadam. This is the gateway drug that will lead you to greater heights, Nava Rasa, happiness which is forever fresh, ever increasing. And on the other side, yes, we don't want to see people within our society which are on their own, acting independently and being confused, just like the karmis, just like so many people living in this city, for example. Just working for vapor, for nothing, for thin air at the end of the month. Just working, and nothing is happening. People are so lonely, they don't have relationships. They've become so alienated by these electronic devices, internet, and low-class communication, messages, and phone calls. For some people it's so difficult to just go outside and make friends in the park or something similar. And people can't have fun many times without drinking. If you're going out to do something nice, you have to drink, you have to take some drugs, you have to really smash your brain, your senses. And so we don't want to see this. We don't want to see people who are being confused in our movement, people who are getting depressed, and this is all coming because there is no understanding of the philosophy, and there is no knowledge of the examples which are set by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, for example, who came to teach us how to be perfect devotees. If we just open the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the postgraduate study of spiritual life, we will see such transcendental dealings of love between Mahaprabhu and his intimate disciples. And we will see this selflessness and this mood of service in all these pastimes. If we just read them and meditate on them, study them, then we can actually try to adopt them in the same way. And it's never about us, it's never about our situation or our comfort, our family, my problems, my this, my that, my house, my documents, my salary, and so forth. All these things are secondary. It's all about Krishna. It's not about me and my situation and my comfort. It's about Krishna. If Krishna is pleased, if the Vaishnavas is pleased, then everything falls into place. And Krishna also reciprocates by coming out of his own way to please us. It's not that we are some kind of slaves. That's what many people understand sometimes when we're speaking about service. And in general, the word service has a negative connotation, if we can say. And sometimes we carry this understanding even within our spiritual life. We still think in the back of our minds that service is ultimately not good, Why serve? No, you have to do the things, you have to be, you have to guide your own life. You have to take care of yourself. But no, by being servants, we are serving Krishna, and Krishna is serving us. It's a relationship of loving service. Just like in the beautiful pastime in the Bhagavatam, Sudama Brahmana, when he came to see Krishna, even though he didn't want to see him, but his wife pushed him because they were living in utter poverty. It was getting really, really dangerous. They had nothing to eat and not even the bare necessity to survive. They were all skinny. So the wife one day pleaded him, please go to your friend and ask him a little bit, because we're householders. We have to survive at least. And reluctantly he went to Krishna, Sudama Brahmana. And he had nothing, so they begged from the neighbors. A little bit of chipped rice, broken rice, old broken rice, and it was put in a handkerchief, and this was the gift, because this is the Vedic culture. When you go and visit your friend, you bring a gift. And when Sudama Brahmana arrived to the beautiful palace of Krishna, which was made from marble, and the gates were golden, and there were so many jewels around, there were gardens around, and beautiful consorts and servants of Krishna around. So he came inside, and Krishna was so pleased to meet him, he personally ran to embrace him, and they started immediately talking, because they knew each other from the times of their Gurukul. They were old friends. And Krishna received him as such, as a very old and very dear friend, and he treated him like a king. He sat him on the bed of the goddess of fortune and washed his feet, and then took the water from the feet and put it on his head. And then the pastime continued. Sudama Brahmana, he was reluctant to give the rice. He was really embarrassed to give something like this to Krishna. But Krishna, he knew, because he is the all-seeing Paramatma. He knew the intentions of Sudama. He knew that he's keeping the rice in the back of his robe, in the pocket. And Krishna started telling him, Sudama-ji, you have some gift for me, I'm sensing. But Sudama, he was saying, no, Krishna, I'm a poor Brahmana, I came with nothing. But then Krishna very expertly distracted him and snatched the rice away from him. And he said, oh, you're such a dear friend, you have brought me such nectar. And he took a little bit of rice and he was feeling so satisfied by the devotion. And in the same manner, Krishna was serving Arjuna. Krishna somehow doesn't like to play the role of a king and accept all the awe and reverence from his most dearest devotees. He is willing to bend his knee in front of his devotees. He is willing to become the son of his devotees in order to accept this kind of service. And this is something extraordinary. This is something that only we have in our beautiful movement. So this is what I wanted to say. If anybody wants to ask some questions, comments, Prabhuji? I think it wasn't cooked. Yeah, I think he just took a raw grain, just like when we're breaking a Ekadashi, sometimes you can take a raw grain of rice. And for Krishna, that wasn't important. For Krishna, the devotion of the devotee was most important. Just like he says in the Gita, Patram Pushpam Parantoyam. If one offers me with love and devotion, I will accept a little bit water, flower, or a leaf. So Krishna, he wants our devotion. Anything else? Okay then, thank you very much, dear devotees. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.